Hello, dear friends. We're talking to the Kabbalist, Dr. Michael Lightman. Prophets, the Secrets of the Eternal Book, Yeshua ben Nun. We have 24 chapters, and now we're starting with chapter 18. And it says about how all of Israel gathered in Shiloh. They built the tent of congregation, and 7 tribes haven't received their property yet. And Joshua said, "How long are you slack to come in to possess the land which the Lord God of your fathers has given you? Appoint for yourself 3 men for each tribe, and I will send them, and they shall arise and go through the land and describe it according to their inheritance, and they shall come to me. And I will cast lots for you here before the Lord." So the first question is, what is the tent of congregation where all problems are resolved seemingly?
Is the general correction of people and their control on earth.
It's something that happens gradually?
Yes, this happens gradually. This realization of the Creator, and this is how they conquer the land of Israel, because Israel is directly to the Creator. And because of this battle, this war continues, this conflict against personal egoism. Actually, there are no external enemies. All these enemies are inside. And these prophets that are in the Kabbalists, that are in connection with the Creator, in direct connection with Him, communicating with Him. This is called a prophet. And Yeshua guides them which way they need to attain this degree. And that's what it's talking about, this gradual upliftment of people to conquer this land, the desire, this land, Ratzon, which is called. It's Israel directly to the Creator, towards bestowal, towards love, towards this unconditional love and connection. And these people that are striving for it are called Israel, and that's the whole goal. And the Torah explains this.
It says here that all of Israel gathered in Shiloh, and they put the tent of congregation there. What do they want to say by that?
This is a general screen that covers all of them. All of their desires, intentions, and directs them to the Creator.
Where it says that everything happens at the entrance to that tent, what does it mean?
Before reaching such a state that they can be gathered together, they're connected to such an extent that they can become similar or like one man with one heart, and be covered by the Creator, covered by this shelter, this common screen.
They take all their decisions together?
Absolutely. Everyone is one man with one heart.
And if someone doesn't go along?
Then he leaves the shelter, leaves the Creator, leaves the connection with the Creator, and leaves the society. And that's it, and is distanced from them.
What does it mean when Israel are slacking in taking the land? This is what Yeshua ben Nun begins with.
Yeah, this is a problem when people fear going against their own ego, when they can't have the forces to unite, they can't have this quality of love and bestowal between them, and this is a natural problem of going against egoism, which is the main law of a human. And this is where all the problems occur, all these tensions, who is bigger, smaller. And so this is the work not directly with the Creator, but as to who can compete with the other.
What does it mean to push them like Joshua does?
That it inspires them and shows them what exists there, and that there's no other way to progress except to step towards this, towards connection between each other, and then between them the Creator will be revealed.
Sometimes you say that laziness is good. What do you mean in relation to this laziness?
No, laziness is good when a person calculates very accurately their desires and doesn't do anything except those actions that are for bestowal and love. That is, that's honorable.
It's not this case.
No, not this kind of laziness.
Okay, and where you want for more for yourself, there.
Yeah, this kind of laziness you must overcome.
If you can explain the process, it sounds like a process that Joshua talks about, that is, we have to build the desire of Israel in us. He said, I will send them. What does it mean to send?
I will push them through, I will guide them, I will support them on these steps towards love.
And they shall rise.
Yes, and to rise above themselves, their ego.
What does it mean to stand? What they sat before?
Yes, there's these states of sitting or laying, standing.
What are these states?
This is like Galut. This is small state. Katnut is a small state when a person is sitting. When he stands up, this is already like intermediate state, and then he can be connected with others, but only with action to bestowal, and then even a bigger state when he can.
Meaning, when standing up, you can turn the qualities of reception into bestowal. And then it says they will cross the land. Meaning what?
Yes, that he led them through the land means that they can connect with all their desires and interconnected all of them, and they can work together with one desire, with one common intention.
There it says that they will describe it.
Yes, that everything that they will find out, will receive, they will be able to attain, they will be able to take into themselves.
And it ends with, and will come to me.
And they will return back to their
What does it mean to rule over all of these desires?
And it's the one that helps them, that guides them, explains why do they exist, for what, why you should go through such obstacles, and to rule over your egoism with love between each other.
It talks about teacher and student, or what here?
Yeah, it's talking about how to properly utilize the teacher and realize what he is talking about. And this is the process of entering the land of Israel.
What happened then? They crossed the land, described it, came to Joshua, and he gave them property, etc., etc. And then what did the tribe of Binyamin receive? It describes it. And we're moving to the 19th chapter, short one. And in this book of Yoshua bin Nun, it explains what property did the seven remaining tribes receive. Shimon, Issachar, Asher, Naphtali, Dan, etc. And it says, these are the inheritances which Elazar the priest of Joshua and Joshua the son of Nun and the heads of the houses of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel divided for an inheritance by lot in Shiloh before the Lord. What does it mean to divide the land before the Lord?
It means that that common desire that the Creator created and that He attracts towards Himself. So this common desire would attain Him and it would work just like the Creator for bestowal, for quality of love. This common desire amongst itself, it would work like we work in a group. Out of our connection in the group, this common desire, intention, our common practice, our experience. So with it, we could understand how to relate to the Creator. So if we were not to implement this connection between us, we wouldn't be able to even relate to the Creator. We wouldn't even know who to relate to. And he just as it is here, each tribe needs to work as different parts, so they can be collected and could relate to turn to the Creator out of its common desire, and then later they will all connect into one people.
How do I connect all this inside of me? It all happens inside a person. How?
Desires that exist in a person, he must sort them. He must build them in such a way from small desires and then with help bigger and bigger desires, so they would be directed towards connection between him and others in such a way that out of these states, out of these actions, out of this experience, he can understand how he can turn to the Creator.
Sorting of the desires, how does that happen? The desire what?
From smallest to biggest.
How is that?
The ones that are insignificant?
So those that I can and can't deal with. There are those that I can deal and I know it.
Yes, that I understand right now I can't deal with. So I work with the smaller ones, and gradually I take on bigger ones.
It's very precisely described here in this chapter about the land that was conquered. So who are they given to? It's so precise. What is it? For ordinary people, Kabbalists, or to later divide the land of Israel? Who is it all for?
They're given for those kind of people that are able to understand what is land, eretz, from the word ratzon, the desire, and which way they can, within themselves, they can organize these desires, sense them, and the desire to connect them exists between them, and slowly this gradual correction from egoistic to altruistic.
When a Kabbalist hears all of these different names, what happens in him?
And that depends on the attainment of the Kabbalist. He starts to understand their gematria, their names, why and how, what's the sequence, and so on.
Is it necessary to reach this state, or simply flow?
Practically, we must go through all the states, practically all the states, and there's nothing complicated in this except gradual attainment of these desires and their essence and the work on yourself.
And it's probably also written from light to heavy, from heavy to light.
Yes, yes. Yes. At first, the Creator created heaven and earth, and then the rest.
So again, it's like from the harder, so to speak, land to the easier. Okay, so this ends the chapter, and then comes chapter number 20. Very interesting, very serious chapter. It begins with, "And the Lord spoke to Joshua, saying, Speak to the children of Israel, saying, Prepare for you cities of refuge, of which I spoke to you through Moses, to which a slayer that kills any person unaware, that does it unintentionally, shall flee, and they shall be for you as a refuge from the avenger of blood." My question is, what stuns me is that, it's so important. It's one of the very first, practically, laws as they enter the land. One of the very first laws is to build these cities of refuge.
Well, those that are working against their egoisms, then they can't escape this. There'll be wars and battles, these crimes and battles, the ego, and we won't know how to correct them. And these desires we won't be able to deal with, and we'll know how to work with them from the first time, maybe second time, or so on.
So it's not just how to build cities, but specifically those cities where these unintentional killers will be sent to. Who decides that it was done unintentionally, intentionally? Who makes the decision?
A person in relation to him and others, he compares everything, and the upper light formats within him all these desires, and it so happens that as a result, as he's progressing forward within him, there's this sorting from these bigger, these are smaller, these it was a mistake, and here maybe not a mistake, but intentionally he used these desires egoistically, and it exists in every person and in his work with others. So Torah, it considers all of these states.
So again, please, what is a murder or a killing?
A murder is when the desire is killed out of its correct use, and you can't use it at this point.
So
you can't.
I say I can't work with this desire, meaning that I killed it. What does it mean to kill intentionally?
Well, there's many different methods of killing. But the thing is that whatever I have to work with, but I couldn't, or maybe vice versa, I was given a chance to work with some egoistic desire, but instead of me being able to turn it into something positive, into something altruistic. Instead, I just killed it. I wasn't able to flip it from plus to minus. I just wasn't able to. It's not that it just disappeared. It's not that it disappears, but I can't work with it. I simply just couldn't work with it.
Who's that judge inside of me?
The judge within me that's basically me, myself, but on a higher level.
So the quality I have to acquire is of the next degree?
Yes. There's an article about this in the Torah, and this whole shelter, this tent, and all the friends and Yahshua that guides me forward. These are all forces that are teaching me, explaining to me where I am and where I exist.
So a judge is looking from a higher to a lower degree, right?
Of course.
It's something that you can't bribe, this degree.
No.
What goes on in this world, it's...
No, not our world.
Okay, so one of the first laws of the last generation is building such cities of shelter.
Yes.
Then it explains precisely how... Again, and he shall have... Okay. Declare his cause in the ears of the elders of that city. They shall take him into the city of them and give him a place, and he shall dwell among them. It's the process of decision-making here, right?
Yes, if he really thinks that he is ready to enter in contact with other desires, other people, to rise to the next degree of communication, of connection, of relation, greater and greater towards the desire of Adam, when all of the desires are connecting together. Then only then he needs to decide, only needs to be judged by the elders. These elders are Gar of the upper degree, and they sit at the gates of the city as deciding if he can enter or not to the next degree. And he needs to pass this exam.
We don't want to confuse this world with the spiritual one, but there is such decision-making in some ancient places where they haven't reached modernization yet. There's still a kind of projection onto our world. It exists someplace. Can we say that it's a projection into our world, understanding that the elders, they're...
Yes, this is a natural state of humanity when it appoints elders to be their judges.
Will we ever come to that again?
Yes, it will happen automatically.
But it will.
But it won't be in such a state that there will be some city and the elders will sit on some rocks and you will stand in line to talk with them. They'll hold their staffs. It's not so. It won't be so.
What decision is made? It is a city of criminals. So what decision is made? That he's a criminal, that he committed a crime unintentionally. That's the main decision?
Well, there are different states. There could be different kinds of cities, different populations. But if a person wants to be judged truthfully, then he goes to such people, and they bring him judgments.
And it says, and if the avenger of blood pursue him, then they shall not deliver the slayer into his hand, because he smote his neighbor unwittingly and did not hate him from before. What does it mean to kill your neighbor, suppose?
Well, because in order to connect with someone, and to build a more common desire to raise it to a higher level of relating to the Creator, then here he did the opposite. He did not use it. He neglected it, and he not only put his own part to death, but also of his friend or neighbor, and he done damage to the Creator.
Meaning he's the neighbor close because he could have reached this connection but didn't go for it, and by that killed it. He does it unintentionally.
No, that's not that he intended it. Everything is calculated by the intention. It's not that. There's no such thing.
It says that he felt no hate for him. What does it mean?
Yeah, it's not that it was planned earlier, but regardless, it was because of the ego. The ego worked.
Meaning, no place to revenge if the killing or murder was unintentional. The murderer won't be given into their hands.
Yes.
What is there then?
That's correction. In our understanding, what's talked about here is that all of this was purposeful. Everything happens from the Creator. The Creator has arranged such a situation, that He would make a mistake, and through this mistake, He would learn deeper about Himself as to what needs to be corrected.
He thanks the Creator for it? It's a crime, I mean, but still, what is there about it?
Well, actually, it's not a crime. In Torah, there are no crimes, even though they're described with such words. But in Torah, there are no crimes, because everything happens from above. And a person must only learn on all this, that everything happens from the Creator, and he must give maximum effort to learn this.
So this is how I live by. This is what I live by. That everything comes from the Creator. So actually, I have no one to turn to, and
Well, because the person must learn, because Torah is called an instruction, a method, a book. It is a manual of how to live, what kind of world we live in, what should one do with himself, and how we should continue to progress.
Then it says, "And he shall dwell in that city until he stand before the tribunal for judgment, until the death of the high priest that shall be in those days. Then shall the slayer return and come to his own city and to his own house, to the city from which he fled."
Yes. Well, what's meant here is that there's a short circuit, this segment of correction, and then a new cycle is started. This new level that one doesn't have much to do with, and it's as if starting a new life.
It's like a new incarnation, a new path of correction. So the time of punishment is kind of predetermined.
Yes, from above, yes. But a person does not know the extent.
Well, here it's when the higher priest dies.
Yes, but we don't know when and what. It's all from above.
It says that then the murderer can return to his city, his home, meaning we're saying that he returns into those same desires of his or into new ones. What happens? The cycle, what is it?
In other words, everything that he's done that's bad is erased, and he starts reincarnation anew.
And it is it's counted.
Yes, it's counted. All these years, all these the corrections he goes through, and because of that, he can go through it again, but in a correct way.
So it all accumulates in him, one or another, and he uses this experience.
Of course.
And it ends with there were the cities set apart from all the children of Israel, and their different names, and Ramot, Gilad, Golan, Bashan, and it ends by saying these were the cities set apart for all the children of Israel and for the stranger that sojourns among them, that whosoever kills any person unawares might flee there and not die by the hand of the avenger of blood. And this is how it ends.
Спасибо большое. Спасибо. До следующих встреч.
Okay, thank you very much. Till next time.